So I have this song called Dominoes. The chords are C to D. It's in 4/4 time in the verse, like this. But I play it like this. So what makes the second progression sound so different than the first progression? And how can you incorporate these things in your songs? I know a lot of people are crazy for learning chords and voicings. So let's start with that and then we'll break it all down as we go, okay? So we've got a wide stretch C chord here. This is the 8th fret here. This is the 5th fret here. This is the 9th fret here. And you've got all of these chords are on the 6th, 4th, and 3rd strings. So you've got a wide stretch C. You've got a G with a B in the bass here. That's the 7th fret. You've got an A minor wide stretch chord. This is the 5th fret. You've got an E minor with a G in the bass here. And you've got a D that it lands on. Together, they sound like this. Number one, create space. Experiment with creating space in your progressions. So let's say this song starts, dominoes falling down, he is falling away. Well, what if we started this song by just strumming once? Dominoes falling down, he is falling away. Sometimes dropping out for even just a measure can make a huge difference to change the vibe, give space for the vocals, add some dynamics to the songs. You don't have to strum all the time. Which brings me to number two, arpeggios. An arpeggio is when you spell out the notes of the chord, either in ascending or descending order. So if I have a C chord, and I was arpeggiating the C chord, I could go. So let's say we have a C to D progression. We could do something like this. Now in Dominoes, I'm also using arpeggios. I have groups of 3-note chords. I'm playing them one at a time. This is an integral part of the song, arpeggiating, and it would not have the same feeling without those arpeggiated notes. Accent the bass. So I'm sure many of you have heard stuff like this. So what am I doing there? And most importantly here, I'm accenting the bass on each beat. I'm playing a bass note. And if I play this slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to alternate between two notes. You can play different bass notes on each beat. What if you did something like this? Now here, I'm actually playing a different bass note on each beat. I'm going C, and then I'm playing an open D, playing an E, and then a C, and I'm strumming the chord, and each beat is getting these bass notes. The point really is just that you can experiment with this. On Dominoes, I am using bass notes on each beat of the verse as well. If you hear this, the bass note is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So on each beat, I'm actually playing a different bass note. And it creates a kind of nice feeling of motion. So you may ask, well, what bass notes do I play on what chords? I would say the short answer is experiment with it. You can do a lot, as you can see, with just open chords. The next thing I'm doing on Dominoes is using what's called a triplet feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So basically, there's groups of 3 notes. Now this song is in 4/4 time, but actually each beat is getting 3 notes. Now let me break this down a little bit. If you have 4/4 time and you have what's called a whole note, let's say we strummed for a whole note, basically we'd be strumming for 4 beats. It would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have quarter notes, you have 4 beats per measure in 4/4 time. If I played one C note here like this, you'd hear 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or in terms of down strums, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, if you divided that again into 1/8 notes, you'd have 2 notes per beat. You can count that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Or if you strummed, it would sound something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Now you wouldn't really hear a rhythm with continuous 1/8 notes like that. You'd hear mute notes, mute chords to have some sort of pattern like. So 1/8 notes you can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So with triplets you have 3 accents on each beat. So you can count that as 1 E ah, 2 E ah. And if I mute the strings and I play them, I get 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah, 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah. And if I wanted to play this on a single note, you'd have 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah, 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah. Now, in terms of plucking this with a pick, you can alternate your pattern to keep this going. So what I do is down, down with my pick, and then up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, etc. But basically you have this 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah. Let's take a C chord and let's play just the bottom 3 notes of it. The 5th, 4th, and 3rd string, and I'm gonna pluck with my fingers 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3. So it goes like this. 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah, 1 E ah, 2 E ah, 3 E ah, 4 E ah. You could also say 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Now, the song Dominoes uses triplets. So now that we've gone through all of that and we get back to it, it should make sense here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I had no other point here, it would be to experiment with different rhythmic accents and also the power of these different rhythmic accents to kind of spice up your playing and change the whole feeling of the song, which I think it does on Dominoes. This really creates a very different feeling with these triplets. It may take practicing with a metronome, but it would be well worth it. All right, passing chords. I'm also using passing chords. As you've seen, I had a C chord and basically playing 4 chords over it. right? I'm going to use a simple example. Let's say you have C to D, and you're playing over and over and over again, where you're going like... And you want to vary it up a little. Let's say I throw an E minor in there at the end of each measure, right? So let's say I go... This can add some nice variety to the song to try throwing in a passing chord, wide stretch chords. These are beautiful chords, but they are a bear to play when you're first learning them. But they're well worth learning. Let's look again at the C wide stretch chord. First you have a C here, you have a G here, you have the E here. So C, E, and G. Now if you play an open C chord and you only play the 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings together, you get this nice sound. You get it here as well. So it's the same sound here as here. So why would you bother to play this chord if it's hard to play? Well, let me give you a few examples just to give you a taste for what you can do, because the position opens up other things. Also, so that was basically a whole bunch of triads and inversions of wide stretch chords, essentially. A minor. We have A minor wide stretch. This one here, we've got the 5th fret. We've got the 2nd fret here on the 4th string. And then we've got the 3rd string here. Again, it's all 6th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. Same thing here. If you played an open A minor and you only played the 5th, 4th, and 2nd string, you get that sound. But getting it here, to me, is different. It has sort of a different sonic texture, if you will. And there's an immediacy and a sadness to it that I find very appealing. In Dominoes, it's the 1st chord, and then I use the A minor here as well. The other chords are what are called inversions of wide stretch chords, which we'll get to. The other thing I'm using is slide notes. Now I want to show this by example. I think it's a fun, simple example is from C to D. So let's say you have something like that. But you could actually just slide the chord up, C, so you can slide the chord up there and you get a kind of a different vibe. You can also do this with just one note, the 4th string. I can slide this note. So let's say I go... gives a different feeling to it. So experiment with this. It can add some fluidity and interest to your progressions, particularly if there's like a long jam. It might be nice to hear something like that in the background. On Dominoes, I'm using slide notes as well. I'll show you this very slowly. If you hear, I'm actually sliding notes from a couple of chords on this. So I play it like this. So what's happening is I play the 1st chord and I slide my pinky down to the next chord, and then I play the next chord. Then I have the A minor, and then I slide down to the E minor, and then I play a D. So you get this. When we first learn to play guitar, we learn open chords. like C, D, E minor, A minor. Each of these chords is made up of a triad, which is basically a group of 3 notes: a root, a third, and a fifth. So this also relates to scales. If you think do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that would be a major scale. We have C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and C is 8. And you'll see the bottom note is a C, and the C is what's called the root of the C chord. It's the identity of the chord. An inversion is when you play a note other than the root in the bass. So let's say you have a C chord, which we do. We play it from the 5th string. There we're playing it with the root in the bass. The C is the root of the C chord, and that's in the bass, the lowest note. But let's say you played it from the 4th string, then we'd be playing it from an E, and this would be the 3rd. Now remember, major scales, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. C is 1, D is 2, E is 3. Basically, that's the 3rd. So I can play this here, and you would call this an inversion. Now, most people don't think of inversions from open chords, but looking at this another way, if we see these 3 strings here, 5, 4, and 3, we see here C, E, G, C, E, G. The 5th string is C, the 4th string is E, the 3rd string, a G. If we slide up the notes, we get this position, which is a 1st inversion C. So this has the E in the bass, or the 3rd in the bass, and it's called a 1st inversion because the 3rd is in the bass. Then we go up again here, we have the 5th in the bass. That's called a 2nd inversion. So you have these, and this applies to all the sets of strings, so you could play this all over the place, really. Just 3 notes, and if you know those notes, you can play them wherever you want on the fretboard. On Dominoes, we have wide stretch chords and inversions. So if you see here, I have a C, right? We already went over that. Then I go to a G. You might say, a G, what are you talking about? That doesn't look like a G. Well, actually, it is a G with the 3rd in the bass, or the B in the bass, because B is the 3rd of G. If you think G, A, B, B is the 3rd relative to G. Then we have an A minor. Then we have an E minor, also with the 3rd in the bass, a G. And then we have the D with an F sharp in the bass. And actually, this may look a little strange, but if you play D like this, you see the top note here is also an F sharp. Basically, you have a mix of triad root position chords like C and A minor, but you also have this G and this E minor and this D. Now, if I show you the wide stretch chords and their inversions, you'll have something like this. This is the root C. This is with the 3rd in the bass. This is with the 5th in the bass. I would go up here, but this is a little high for most people who don't have a cutaway on their guitar. So you have C. This is 3rd in the bass. This is 5th in the bass. You have the same thing with D, obviously in different positions. You have a D here. This is with the 3rd in the bass. This is with the 5th in the bass. And this is with the root in the bass. And obviously this will look very similar to what we just did with C. They're just in different positions. Then we have A minor. And that's what this looks like. We have the root in the bass, A. We go up to the 3rd in the bass. And then we have the 5th in the bass, which looks like this. So this is a huge topic. If you want to delve in deeper to triads and inversions, I do have a video on this where I get much more into it, also including a trick to find notes on the fretboard. So if you can find notes on the fretboard, then you can spell chords around them, and then you can play and write songs really with those chords in all kinds of places. I spent years on this, and it influences my playing to no end. use a metronome. If you're going to play with other people, let's say you're going to record songs, you're going to want to keep time, or you want to count these triplet feels like 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E. It really is going to help you enormously to practice that to a metronome. The same thing goes with your original songs. If you practice the rhythm part to a metronome, and when I've gone into the studio in my past, I used to take a part and really play it to a metronome as much as I could. And then when I came into the studio, I knew I might vary it up, but I would vary less because I had this practice of like practiced to a beat. There are online metronomes, so you don't even have to buy one. They're free. When I do, it makes a huge difference. We went over a lot of things today. I want to talk about music as transformation. So music can transform us. When I play a wide stretch A minor chord, there's like a sadness to this. To me, there's an immediacy. What does it mean to you? What do you think of when you hear it? When I have a D pedal, it makes me filled with peace. So how does it make you feel? What does it make you want to write or express? So how Dominoes came to be was really written out of this progression. It sounded like little dominoes falling on top of each other. And that concept to me tapped into something like when I want to make some change in my life, or if I have a vision of my life, but it's just out of reach for me. I can't seem to get there. There was something about this progression that started this for me, and the music itself inspired the song. So what does this music inspire to you? What do these chords inspire to you? And really it comes down to you. It's about you and what you do with it. You'll hear tons of people playing amazing things, or not, but it's all what you do with it. You matter, and you have a unique voice in this world, and we all deserve to be heard. So I hope you take these ideas and you run with them in some cool way I never would think of, and I'm really excited to hear it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast making it. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot I want to share about the guitar and the creative process. If you made it this far, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.